In April 2003, a young girl called Summer is going to her school's spring party in a farmhouse. There, she meets her nerdy friend Quinn, who is surprised to see her, even more so after his classmates have been eliminated by Sweetly's masked criminal. Quinn takes the opportunity to deliver a letter to Summer, but before he can, her ex-boyfriend Ethan shows up and takes her to the party. The guy wants to get back together and tries to convince her to enjoy the moment and forget the tragedy that happened. However, during the conversation, someone bumps into Ethan, causing him to spill drink on Summer's clothes. The girl then goes to the bathroom to clean up, just as two policemen show up and tell everyone to leave, due to a report of an unauthorized party by the neighbors. To her misfortune, while the girl was cleaning herself up, Sweetly's masked man appeared in the bathroom, with his bizarre face and carrying a knife in his hand. Seeing his reflection in the mirror, Summer manages to dodge his blow and runs towards the exit. Outside, the girl screams for help, but everyone is already leaving the party and, because of the noise, no one hears her. All Summer can do is hide inside a nearby stable, but it doesn't take long for the criminal to follow her with his weapon. Even though she was doing her best to hide her presence, just as Summer was about to flee, the sound of her bracelet caught the criminal's attention. The girl tries to run, but the masked man pulls a huge scythe out of the stable and cuts her in half with a single blow. This crime took place 20 years ago and has become a local legend. However, for Summer's younger sister Lucy, the memories of the sister she never met still torment her and, to escape her past, she has decided to apply for an internship at NASA. When she finds out that she has been approved, the girl rushes to tell her teacher, Mr. Fleming, but she fears that her overprotective parents won't let her go. The teacher, however, advises her to take charge of her life and take a new path before it's too late. Hours later, on returning home, Lucy goes to her deceased sister's room, which is set up just as she left it before the tragedy. While exploring the place, she accidentally finds a loose part of the floor, and inside it, several pieces of correspondence are stored. When she reads one of them, she finds a threatening message addressed to her sister, and the person who wrote it has only identified himself with the letter E. This intrigues Lucy, but as soon as her mother turns up, she hides the letter to investigate it later. Afterwards, the young woman goes out to lunch with her parents, and during the meal, she reveals about the internship and that she is moving to Washington. As she feared, her parents don't like the idea at all, but they decide to talk about it after paying their respects to Summer at the place where she was eliminated. When they get there, the couple leave some valuables and ask if Lucy has also brought something for her sister. She pretends to have forgotten it in the car and goes back to get it, but when she looks in the stable where Summer was attacked, she sees a mysterious light go on and off instantly. Lucy goes to investigate and hears strange sounds coming from two boxes behind the covers, with a panel showing the date April 16, 2003. While inspecting them, she accidentally activates the machines, which fire laser beams at each other, producing a rapid flash. Confused by what has happened, Lucy leaves, but realizes that the place is completely different. The stable is in perfect condition, the farm garden has been renovated, and the place where her parents left Summer's presence has disappeared. In this new environment, the couple are nowhere to be found and Lucy's phone has no signal. The only thing left to do is to walk to the bridge that leads to the city, but once there, things get even stranger, as the calendar shows that she is in the year 2003. The young girl runs to Sweetly's school to talk to Professor Fleming, in search of a possible answer. However, in the midst of several students she had never seen at school, Summer, her older sister, appears. With no doubt that the machine in the stable has taken her to the past, Lucy rushes off to find the younger version of Mr. Fleming. As expected, he hasn't met the girl yet, but when she asks him about time travel, it ends up attracting the attention of Quinn, Summer's friend. The young man mentions that if time travel were possible, it could cause terrible temporal paradoxes. Even so, Lucy wants to know more about it, but the conversation ends when Quinn is captured by Ethan and his friends. The guy has just been dumped by Summer and decides to take out his frustration by playing humiliating pranks on his ex's nerdy friend. He and his colleagues take him outside and are about to throw him into the lake behind the school, even though Quinn can't swim. However, this attitude infuriates Lucy, who not only orders the group to let the young man go, but also pushes Ethan and knocks him to the ground. Fortunately, the school principal shows up and breaks up the argument, but the new girl's attitude leaves everyone impressed, including Summer. After all the confusion, Lucy takes Quinn to a more discreet place and reveals that she has come from the future. At first, the young man doesn't believe her, but as soon as Lucy shows him her smartphone, a technology unthinkable in 2003, he is soon convinced and wants to know more about the future. However, the two are interrupted by Summer, who shows up to talk to Quinn and apologize for what Ethan did. The young man, who shows he has feelings for Summer, accepts her apology and promises to meet her later to lend her his homework. Summer thanks her and asks who the new girl is, but Lucy just says her name, without revealing that she is her sister from the future. After the conversation, Lucy takes Quinn to the stable, where they find the time machine. The two of them carry the equipment to the young man's garage and realize that the machine was built by a company called Sonar. Lucy remembers that it's the name of the same company where her father works and decides to go there, because if she learns how to use it, she can change the past. Quinn, however, is against the idea, fearing that it will create a time paradox capable of destroying all existence. Nevertheless, Lucy is determined and asks the young man for a ride home. To his surprise, the house is the same as Summer's and he soon deduces that she and Lucy are sisters. Once again, he warns that interacting with the family from the past could make things worse, but the young woman has to get in, since her father has the Sonar access card. Seeing that he won't be able to stop her, Quinn decides to help and the two of them go to meet Summer. She asks about her homework, but Quinn has brought an activity from another subject. So, to help Lucy, he tells her that the girl will do the homework with Summer and that way, she will have the chance to get the access card. Upon entering the house, Lucy notices a big difference from her past home. The living room and bedrooms are disorganized, but the atmosphere is much brighter and her parents are happier, more charismatic people. She even sees the Sonar access card attached to a lanyard around her father's neck, but before she can take it, she is invited to lunch with his family. During the conversation, Summer invites her new friend to the mall, but her parents won't allow it because she hasn't done her homework yet. Lucy soon realizes that her parents have always been demanding, but they became bitter after Summer lost her life. After lunch, Lucy goes to her sister's room and the two start trying on clothes. They immediately hit it off and while they're enjoying the moment, the young woman sees a photo of a couple, Val and Brian, stuck to the mirror. Summer says they're her friends and Lucy remembers that the couple were also victims of the masked man at the city mall. Determined to stop this, the young woman leaves the house, grabs a scooter she finds on the street and rushes to the scene before the criminal. When she gets there, however, Lucy doesn't know where the couple are and it's only a few minutes before the mall closes. Luckily, she finds Quinn working in a video store and he tells her that the couple came to pick up a movie and went to the clothing store. In this store, Val is finishing trying on one of her purchases, while Brian waits outside. Suddenly, the store lights go out and the young man knocks over the DVD they picked up at the video store. Brian goes to pick it up, but the disc falls at the feet of the masked man who, in seconds, breaks the DVD in half and uses one of the pieces to hit the young man in the neck. Val hears the noise and goes after her boyfriend, but to her horror, she finds Brian's body on the floor. The girl despairs and tries to flee, but the criminal appears, knife in hand, blocking the exit. For Val, all that remains is to await her tragic fate, but then Lucy appears and pushes the clothes display against the villain, causing him to fall on the other side of the counter. The masked man soon pulls himself together and sets off after them, but Lucy blocks his way, knocking over a pile of toys in his direction. After that, she and Val try to go down the escalator, but the sinister guy appears on the other side. Lucy manages to climb back up, but Val ends up tripping on one of the steps and the escalator takes her towards the masked man. Lucy screams for help and one of the guards goes to see what's happening, but it's too late and the villain grabs Val by the head and presses her against the escalator's claws. The guard finally arrives at the scene of the crime, but is also eliminated by the criminal, who pierces him with his knife. Amid Lucy's screams of terror, Quinn shows up to see what's happened and finds the masked man's two victims, who then flee the scene. After this tragedy, Quinn takes Lucy to his house so that she can spend the night. The girl realizes that by trying to prevent Val and Brian's fate, she ended up causing the security guard's elimination, proving the theory that changing the past can lead to even worse consequences. Quinn suggests that it would be best to use the machine to take the young woman back to her timeline, but first she needs to get her father's card. Then, at dawn, Lucy returns home and looks for him, but runs into Summer, who has already heard what happened at the mall. She demands to know the truth and, with no other choice, Lucy reveals that she is her unborn sister. To prove it, she shows her the letter she found in her room 20 years in the future, identified with the letter E, which she believes to be Ethan, Summer's ex-boyfriend. Lucy still suspects that Ethan is Sweetly's masked man, but Summer doesn't believe her story and says she never received the letter. Seeing that she won't convince her, the young woman returns to Quinn's house, who is trying to understand the mechanism of the time machine. Meanwhile, Summer returns to school and, in her locker, she finds the same letter that Lucy showed her. By coincidence or not, Ethan appears shortly afterwards behind her, hinting that it was he himself who wrote the thread in the letter. Back at Quinn's house, the young man discovers that the machine is made of antimatter, which creates a singularity capable of generating a time portal. However, Because of Lucy's trip to the past, the antimatter cylinder is empty and they need to get another one from the company's sonar. The two plan to break into the place, but before they do, Summer appears in front of them. She says she believes Lucy's story and asks her to reveal who the next victims will be. The young woman refuses to tell them her sister's tragic fate, but informs them that Emmy, Summer's best friend, will be eliminated next. On hearing this, she asks them both to help her stop it and, despite the risks of creating paradoxes, Lucy and Quinn agree. So, armed with a flashlight, a tire iron and a baseball bat, the trio set off for the Marine Museum, where Emmy works. Once there, Lucy and Quinn go one way, while Summer goes another in search of Emmy, but there's no sign of the girl. To make matters worse, the lights begin to fail and Sweetly's masked man is already in the museum. While the three of them are looking for her, Emmy is cleaning the ship's corridors and listening to music on her headset. Because of this, when Summer sees her through the window and calls out her name, the girl doesn't listen. The problem is that, from another window, Summer sees the criminal, who is heading in her friend's direction. As luck would have it, Emmy accidentally drops her record player and hears her screaming for her friend to run away. The girl is confused, but soon understands what's going on when the masked man appears in front of her. Emmy then runs to the door and, with Summer's help, manages to lock it from the other side. Soon after, the two of them find Lucy and Quinn and the four of them run away hiding in the ship's net, with the villain losing sight of them. Minutes later, Quinn takes Summer and Emmy back home and Lucy tells them that they've managed to change the past. Still, they have yet to save the masked man's latest victim, who is none other than her sister. Upon learning of this, Quinn insists that Lucy reveal it to Summer and prevent her from being eliminated. The girl agrees and, the next day, she invites her sister to eat at a restaurant. During the conversation, Lucy notices the closeness between her sister and her best friend and deduces that it was Emmy, not Ethan, who wrote the letter. Summer then confesses that the two are more than friends, but that they were afraid to tell the truth and that the letter wasn't a threat, but a warning. So she asks her sister what their future will be like, but Lucy can't bring herself to tell her the sad truth. After that, the two go to Summer's house and spend the night there, but the next morning, Lucy rushes to get the sonar access card. However, her father appears and invites her to have coffee with his wife. Again, Lucy is surprised by her parents' kindness and asks if they have ever thought of having another daughter, but they deny it, saying that the idea has always been to have only Summer. Lucy realizes that her birth only happened because of the void left by the loss of Summer and that, if her sister survives, she will never exist. In the midst of this dilemma, the young woman says goodbye to the couple, takes the hidden access card and goes to find Quinn. The young man, however, is not at home, but Lucy finds a letter written by him, declaring his love for Summer. This only leaves the young woman even more in doubt about what to do, and when Quinn turns up, he soon discovers that Lucy hasn't told Summer the truth. What's more, she's in doubt as to whether to save her or not, which makes Quinn angry and he says he'll stop Summer from being eliminated anyway. Lucy leaves and, despite all the confusion in her mind, she decides to go home and tell Summer everything. Faced with this revelation, the two sisters don't know how to react, but Lucy promises to save Summer, even at the cost of her own life. Then, when night falls, the young woman sneaks up to the gates of sonar, until she is followed by a hooded man. Despite the scare, the guy was Quinn, who had shown up to help Lucy with her plan. The two then break into the laboratory, while far away the fateful spring party is about to take place in the barn. Following Lucy's advice, Summer goes to the party with Ethan. However, this time, when she meets Emmy, she confesses her feelings in front of everyone, for fear that this may be the last time they will be together. She then goes outside the barn and, as expected, the masked man appears before her. But, knowing what's going to happen, it's Summer who lures him towards the stable. At the same time, Lucy and Quinn are in the laboratory and find the place where the antimatter is stored. However, one of the vials has been stolen and the two find the body of one of the guards, disposed of by Sweetly's masked man. They soon come to the conclusion that it was the criminal himself who created the machine in the future and returned to the past to commit the crimes. However, Lucy is determined to prevent things from happening in the same way and, taking the second cylinder bottle, she sets off to save her sister. She has to hurry, because Summer has just entered the stable and there, the criminal appears before her. Just as before, he takes the scythe and prepares to eliminate her, but behind him, a strong light is emitted against the wall and it comes from Quinn's car, which goes through with everything and runs over the villain. Summer manages to dodge just in time and runs into the car, but the masked man is still alive and starts to get up. The two sisters insist that Quinn hit him again and end it all, but the car won't work. The masked man then approaches and removes his mask, revealing that he is Quinn himself, from an alternative future. This revelation leaves everyone in shock, especially Quinn himself, but there's no time to lose and they flee down the road. The three of them make their way to Quinn's garage and Lucy hurries to place the antimatter cylinder to activate the time machine. However, it doesn't take long for Quinn from the future to appear and he then reveals that, in his timeline, Ethan threw him into the lake and Summer did nothing. Even so, on the night of the party, he tried to deliver a letter confessing his feelings for her, but Summer rejected him. Since then, he has created the time machine to take revenge not only on her, but on all her friends. After confessing everything, Quinn from the future wants to finish the job, but his version from the past stands in front of Summer to protect her. The villain is undeterred, but Lucy activates the machine and pulls him towards the laser, with the two of them being taken 20 years into the future. They stop in the middle of a parking lot and the villain takes out his knife and advances towards Lucy. She manages to dodge the attack and grabs the electric charger from one of the cars to defend herself. The villain then advances towards her with his blade again, but ends up hitting the charger and suffering an electrical discharge. He falls unconscious to the ground and Lucy sees that inside his jacket is the antimatter cylinder stolen from the lab. She tries to take it and the villain wakes up, but without hesitating, Lucy takes the knife and hits him in the chest, eliminating him for good. Finally, the masked Sweetly no longer exists and Lucy, seeing that her future has been completely changed, decides to use the machine once again to return to the past. There, she meets Summer and Quinn again, who are happy to see her back. Now, with the chance to have a new life in the past, she applies for the NASA internship and lives her days alongside her family, especially her older sister, whom she has finally gotten to know better. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.